Okay, started another video here. I'm at work, got the tractor running over there, but take a look at this. And even though obviously I had to pick it out of there, this thing, even if I picked it out of there better, this thing is trash. So this was my crankshaft oil seal, and this went really bad really quickly. So it started to leak a little bit, and then a little bit more, and then a whole lot. I'm having some surging going on in the thing going right now. I gotta do some adjustment on the throttle cable. So anyway, the seal went bad, had to replace it. It was getting oil everywhere. It rubberized the belt over there, where the belt is kind of loose and floppy and flexible now, where I could still use it, but it wants to jump off. So I've had to replace the belt because the oil was spilling all over it. And yeah, so anyway, I've been working with this on the job about 2 weeks now, and I've had a whole lot of issues. I'll go up there and try to show them right quickly. I'm going to turn the tractor off probably to talk about it though. See what happens here. So it's running fine. However, like I said, the oil seal went bad. I've had a whole lot of issues I had to deal with. So one, the battery, I had to get that clamp back down. The voltage regulator came loose here. One of these wires basically came loose. Let's see what else. There's other things that happened here. So let's go to the other side here. I can't open that very far because of the fuel tank, but let's see. So I had to adjust the throttle cable there twice now. I'm just trying to get it dialed in. It's kind of okay, but I'm kind of limited to RPMs right now, which is fine. I kind of have a RPM limiter on there because of the throttle cable. I've had to adjust those screws just a little bit as I've worn it in. As time has gone by and I've used this carburetor, I've had to make a little tiny bit of adjustment on there. And the good news is that they do turn by finger. If you look at my fuel line here, hanging down here, I've had to replace that because it was this old, well, I wouldn't even call it old. It comes with like a kit that I bought for the shutoff, and the filter comes with a clear tubing that gets really soft underneath this hood here because this is really hot up in here. So I had to replace that fuel line. All this was filled with oil. I've had to wipe all that off because the main seal went out. Let's see what else. I had a wire on the electrical get caught up in the pulley. Not such a big deal, but that was for the lighting. Right there. My switch, sorry, my power indicator light came out. So all this rough terrain is paying, I'm paying a toll for all this rough terrain. All this stuff jiggles and stuff. So if you ever watch videos on YouTube, look back there, I've got a bunch of trees back there. I got rid of about 5 or 6 dead trees in the tree line over there and pulled them out. So if you ever watch YouTube enough, you'll see I'm just going to say what they say on YouTube. Idiots at work, basically. So I cut a big old tree out there. It's probably 50 to 70 feet tall. And I had my tractor well away from the tree. But as it was falling, it hit another tree and the top snapped off because it was dead. Well, even though my tractor was about 100 feet away from it, the top portion of that tree snapped off and sent it on another trajectory, and just my luck, it came over here, hit the seat and the steering wheel. And you can't tell so much right now. I need to tighten this up now, but this was pretty bent and I had to bend it back into place. The seat was so bent I had to put another one on there. These bolts are coming loose. So there are consequences to riding this thing around in the rough like I'm doing. And I'm not necessarily abusing it, but I'm giving it a really, really hard workout. I'm having several hundred pounds pulling by trees and trailer and all kinds of other stuff. So it's working fine, but a lot of maintenance, and just every morning I come out here, just make sure everything's good. This morning I spent about 15 minutes replacing that fuel line. So I can get through the day and nurse it, and then the next morning I do need to do something. This is just a oil rag just in case I need it. I haven't needed it today, thankfully. There's no oil leaks anywhere, thankfully. But the main oil seal, which I'll talk about again now while we have it shut off. This thing was trash, and I don't know how it ever worked, to be honest. It was so bad. So I couldn't find one, and I needed to get this machine working kind of emergency mode. So what I found out was I couldn't find one, couldn't get one for probably another week on the internet. So I was going to just put a bushing in there, a precision machine bushing, just to get me through the day or the week or whatever. And so I looked up oil seals on Granger and other things. So I had rotary shaft seals. Got the dimensions on this, and I kind of made an assumption because I didn't have my calipers with me that day, and so I put a brand new crankshaft seal on there, started it up, checked it out, had a little tiny bit of an oil leak still. Now, not the seal's fault, not the motor's fault, but my fault, in that I did not have the exact dimensions on that thing. So the outside diameter was correct, the inside diameter was just probably a couple tenths off, or maybe several hundredths off. So I had to use a product, it's called Teflon rope caulk. Basically you put it, it's made for plumbing, and you put it on in your packing when you're dealing with stems on hose spigots and stuff like that. You put this Teflon rope, it's about an 1/8 inch thick, and it's just a long, round, skinny thing. So in order to get this going, I put in that new crankshaft oil seal, and then I had to stuff just a little bit of Teflon rope in there, is what I would call it, 1/8 inch rope. And that has been holding up really well for 2 or 3 days now. So right now you can see I don't have any oil leaks, don't have oil coming out of there. That's just a temporary fix while I wait for a week to get the actual seal in. And it's really not that difficult to change. It takes maybe 20 minutes for me to disassemble and reassemble everything. But it's working, and got a couple problems that I've been having to work out just because of the rough terrain and the hard work that I've been putting it through. I've got the trailer, I greased those bearings and they're starting to squeak again. So those will need a good grease when I get finished with this job again. Also, let me see, let me show the belt. So here's the belt. It's really rubbery. It's probably still usable, but I've only had this on there for 2 weeks. Now I've been working it really hard and this thing got doused in oil, so I would kind of expect it to be a little worn because of that, but it wore out extra quickly. So this thing's just so rubbery. It works and everything, but it seems like it's almost a little stretchable. So I just put a brand new belt on there. Everything's working fine on that aspect. This popped off a couple times. That told me that was probably time to change it because it had been stretched out too far where it doesn't want to stay on the pulleys and the keepers. So that's kind of the update on it. I got everything working. It's gone through some pains in the last couple weeks. I've been really working it hard. So I'm just gonna let's take a quick ride. I got a bunch of work to do down in the gardens, and let's see, I've got pretty much everything. I'm gonna take my shovel just in case I need that. Here's the tools that I had to use this morning. So normally what I'd do is I'll throw these things in what I call my toolbox on the tractor, just to have them there, and just in case I'm out and about and I need to make some repairs, I do keep some tools in here just in case. And I'm gonna do something better here, but yep, everything's good there. Yep, so I usually throw tools in there just in case I need to use them out in the field. So I've got a huge amount of land and I don't want to go back and forth walking for tools. So I'm going to start her up and take her for a ride. See, I mean, she's not perfect right now, but probably fine. We'll take a ride. Take a look at the property. My throttle seems a little funny right now. That's the bad thing. I just get rid of all the weeds. Shortcut here. I gotta get rid of all those weeds right there. Had to cut the tree down right here. Some more trees down the back. Gotta get rid of all those weeds today. I gotta power wash the decks. Patio, pool. Tennis courts. Got to do a little bit more weeds on that. Back in the gulch. Back in the woods. Okay, so right now I've got two rattles. Got a rattle in the seat even though that's complicated. Got a little rattle in the steering wheel. Throttle cable's a little bit funny, but we're back in what I call the gulch. And you can see I've got several tons of grasses, bushes, trees, weeds, shrubs, all kinds of, you name it, I've got all dumped over here. This has all been pulled over here by the Husky. I got grasses, old grasses that have to be cut every year. Something called the liriope. Yeah, a whole lot of honeysuckles. A lot of wood here. Let's see what else. Yeah, so stuff like this, just scragglers that I've had sitting around. I got to throw all this stuff as far down there as I can. So let's finish this quick roundabout on the property. Haven't done the whole perimeter, but I'll go over to the fire pit. We'll start her back up, and this is an important thing. I just need to be able to go over here and turn on the electronics and start it and go. That's an important part of this. After I go over there and I finish this video, I'm going to make some adjustments. I gotta adjust that. I need to do an adjustment on the throttle cable. Then I got a whole bunch of weeds to pull today. So let's go over to the fire pit. Heavy leaves that we have to get through up here. Mostly matted down at this point. Start to hear the rattle. So get rid of all the weeds out of that rocks, those rocks. Yesterday I pulled a tree stump out there with the Husky. Got to weed all those rocks there today. We're headed over to the fire pit. There's another area down there where I can dump stuff, but I normally don't. So I get a little throttle to get up to this area here. All that Those rattles would drive me crazy. So I had to pick up all the sticks off the grass here. Here's the fire pit, and this was a disaster when I got here. Just a lot of crap was dumped here. Had to cut up a bunch of wood. I got this pile left to get rid of. But while I was here, something I do when I'm working here, if I have the wood for it, I'll make a couple benches. I made these little benches with my chainsaw and tree, just a place for the people to sit. Another one over there. They're real simple. They don't take any extra time out of my day. I've got a stack of wood there, and I'm gonna go back here. I've got, I wanna say 7 dead trees I pulled out of the back here with the bolins. And I've got one more that just doesn't want to come down. So you can see I plant these trees. I got to put this metal around them to keep the deer off. We've got deer, we've got snakes, salamanders, skinks, field hopping mouse, spiders, ticks. We got everything you can kind of imagine here in this property, and this is the most wildlife that I encounter on all my jobs and all the places that I work. So we got one tree right here, this dead one right here. This is red oak, and I got a strap on it going that way to basically a come along, which is basically like a hand winch. And I need to get that thing pulled down, but it's been giving me trouble, so I'm gonna sharpen up my chainsaw and give that another whack. Got a tree here that's stuck up in another tree, so I can't really get rid of that completely yet. But yeah, I gotta get all these woods cleaned up, and I've got probably, I would say, probably 2,000 feet by 100 feet of tree line that I have to keep up. And this isn't perfect by any means, but I'm gonna pick up some of these branches and stuff like here. I'll cut them up and get rid of them, but it does not have to be perfect. This is the woods, this is the wild, and we want to kind of keep it that way. You can see some deer tracks there. That's actually normal. We had a gaggle of turkeys come through. There's 3 males and 23 females, which I thought was an odd number. But yeah, this is the drainage here. This all comes out. So the driveway gets a ton of water. I had to create this French drain here, and you can see by the erosion that it's actually working. So this drains all the way up from the driveway, and it's hidden up there. But yeah, that's that. The pool house. I built that pool house several years ago. So the purpose for all this wood here is because there's a street over there. That's the main road coming in and out of the neighborhood. And all this stuff here is privacy. I'm going to continue that over just a little bit over there. But all this is just a privacy to just keep people from basically looking into the yard from over there at the road. That's mostly a wintertime thing. Now that the woods have greened, have gotten their flowers and leaves on them, it's not very visible. But in the winter, it's a lot thinner looking in there, and you can kind of see better. But so I've got the fire set up for the owner to just come in here, basically light the bottom of it, and all those twigs and everything will get it started, then just add more crap to it. A lot of times I think they add lamp oil just to get it started. So yeah, that's what I got going on the last couple weeks. This really was about the Husky. She's doing a bunch of work, giving me a couple problems here and there, but nothing that I didn't expect and nothing that I couldn't really deal with. That main oil seal, I'll have one of those coming soon. So just overall, I gotta say, again, and I've said this many times on either videos or comments, these engines, this is a Kohler K141S. The engine is great. It's the accessories and the components that go to the actual engine, crankshaft, piston, all that stuff that are usually the issue. And I have had that. I've had a little bit of carburetor adjustment. The regulator wanted to rattle off because I've been working it so hard. Had a wire issue. The battery cable came loose. Yeah, that's about it. But lots of minor issues that I've had to deal with that I can just get through. But back in there, the oil seal was really giving me problems for about 2 days, and I said, okay, it's time to get it done. So that's it. She's running great, and I feel like by the time I finish this job, after 2.5 or 3 weeks, I'm going to have all the bugs worked out, and then it'll just be consistently working well. I've got some work across the street coming up that I'll probably show with the tractor. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure if I did. I might have mentioned this. I hit the tree with this and bent it. So I bent it back a little bit, but she took some damages. The seat, I'm gonna have to. This one's fine. I put another one on there, but the old seat that was on there is gonna have to be bent again. I'm gonna have to hammer it out. Let's see the power. Turn the power on. Got a power indicator. Check the lights. So the lights are obviously working, and those are mostly so I can work at night. These are little lights also, and they don't give me a whole lot of headlights so much to speak, but that's just to show people that I exist. Like if a car is coming the other way, I want them to see those lights sticking out. They're mostly marker lights. So other than that, she's running well. It's been quite a process getting her worn in, I guess is the right word, because since changing this engine, she's had a lot of things that I've had to deal with, which is fine. I did have a PTO belt and guard on there that I took off because, well, for a couple reasons. I didn't really need to take them off of there, but the truth of the matter is I don't really use a 600 for PTO type stuff. This tractor is a pulling tractor. That's what I've got it for. That's all I need it for. The 750 and 1050 are going to be the ones where I use the attachments and the actual PTO shaft. I took those off of here just because I'm not going to be using them much. They are ready to work and they will work fine, but like I said, this is the smallest engine, smallest model tractor that I have, so I'm saving the PTO and push blade type stuff for the bigger engine and the bigger models like the 750, excuse me, and the 1050. So it's ready to go with the PTO, but I just prefer not to use this one for that. This one's older, and I wouldn't say that it's compromised in any way. It's just, you know, it's the first year the model came out. They made improvements over the years. They've increased the horsepower, all the above. So I try to keep the jobs for this simple, even though I work it really hard. Yep, that's about it. So lastly, let's see. So lastly, let's show this right here. So this trailer, I had to extend it about another foot here because it's just too close to the tractor, and I have to back this into places, and that longer support there allows me to control the tractor better, mostly in reverse. So you want the trailer to be longer than the tractor itself so that it's easier to maneuver. The trailer is between the hitch pin and the axle. When they're just normally put together, they're shorter than the tractor, which makes it hard to maneuver in reverse. So I added that little piece there just to make my driving and manipulating this thing a little bit easier. Yep, okay. So I think that's about it. Giving an update on this. She's working good. I'm gonna sign out and probably check up on her again in another week. I might do a video if anything exciting happens. Okay, I'm signing out.